Good stuff. You can go in and open it up if you want.
All right, welcome to the warm up. Here today we got Ben and
What's up? How you
me,
doing?
Ja. I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Excited to be here.
Yes, I'm happy you're here as well. So today we're just gonna get into game five of the 2025 NBA Finals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, and what was a very weird feeling game for the most part, and then I think anticipated on my part. OKC pulled away in the end, but for the most part, it was a really good game. Struggles from Halliburton, and yeah, let's just get into it. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
To be honest with you, going into the game, I thought the first quarter, the goal was for Indiana just to hang around. That's kind of what they've done all playoffs. Just
Yeah,
keep the score as close as possible. And then once the time is right, they can kind of make their push. So I wasn't really upset with the first half score. And then in the second half, when McConnell went on the run in the third quarter, I was like, okay, is this their run? Like, are they going to really tighten this game up? And then OKC on the defensive end just completely shut them down. I mean, they couldn't even look towards the basket. They had to just continue to throw it back into the backcourt. High pick and rolls. OKC was picking them off every single time. I just don't know what was up with Tyrese Halliburton tonight, man. That was unbelievably bad. But I know he was hurt and everything, but I definitely expected more from the star player in Game 5 of the NBA Finals. But, I mean, it is what it is. You got to live with the results. And now you head back to Indiana down 3-2.
yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said. In the first half, I thought OKC was doing everything they were supposed to. They're turning over Indiana, and I thought from a feel standpoint they were up. They should have been up like 20-25 because in the Western Conference Finals and especially against Denver, anytime they turned the other team over, they went on like a 20-0 run. And then the
Mm-hmm.
fact that they were only up 12, like it was in the 12-15 range, and they just couldn't find no separation. And then to start the second half, I thought OKC came out a little bit flat footed. I think they've done that. I think every game. Um, Halliburton was very disappointing, but luckily we'll get into Halliburton in a little bit. But TJ McConnell was just absolutely amazing. Like he had the
Mm-hmm.
game
He
of his life.
was.
Like, you couldn't ask for anything else.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt like OKC kind of knew Indiana would go on a run, and I think that was a very huge test to see how they would respond. And then I think Indiana got it to within two in the fourth quarter, and OKC did something with their defense. I don't know what they did. I gotta go back and watch it, but they just tightened up, and then I think it was like four straight turnovers to fast break or to threes. It was just amazing to watch.
Yeah, their ability to tighten up on the defensive end. I mean, they can change they can change the entire game in seconds. I mean, one possession, they can just decide to tighten it up. And I mean, they're picking off those screens. Like you've seen Lou Dort draw the charge or the blocking foul every single time. Um, I saw a lot of really great defensive plays tonight from Alex Caruso. I mean, especially in the fourth quarter. I mean, Alex Caruso's been great for them all series long, but tonight, dude, he was making plays everywhere. I was very impressed with Alex Caruso. Cason Wallace as well, being able to play defense and then knock down the three ball on the other end, which is something they
Hello.
– are we there? Are we
Oh
back?
yeah,
We
yeah,
back.
you go. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, you can't say enough about what Jalen Williams did tonight, lifting them in that way because, they really needed a big breakout performance from their number two guy, and they've been getting good games from him, but they got. I mean, he finished with over 40 tonight, so it's like they really needed a performance like that in a big game 5. So very impressed with him as well. But yeah, OKC's defense completely shut them down in the second half. I was very pleased with that.
Yeah. No, 100%. But between the defense and then every time it felt like Indiana was going on a run, it was J-Dub just putting his head downhill and just attacking the rim, like just relentless attacking the rim. Like I think he had like two or three threes tonight, but all I remember
Mhm.
is him going left, high off the glass, low off the glass, dunking. Like he had this one dunk in the first half. I was blown away. Like he was just relentless. He like when we look back, if the Thunder go on to win the finals, I'll look back and I'll always remember Game 5 being the J Dub game, but that's not to take away what Shea did tonight. I mean, he had the
Mhm.
quietest. I think he had what 31 I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, he was absolutely awesome on both sides of the ball too. I think he had about two or three steals. He had a couple blocks. Just a well composed game by the MVP. You can't ask for much more from him.
No, absolutely. Um, yeah, very impressed with the core that OKC has. They're one of those teams that they'll be around for a really long time if they play the defense that Dagnall has them playing right now, and just their ability to, space the floor on offense and also on defense, just completely take over the ball game. It's really impressive to watch. I want to flip it to the Halliburton side. You want to give me any thoughts on Tyrese Halliburton tonight?
Yeah, so I mean, going to even game 1 where he hasn't been that effective, he hit the game winner, and then game 2, he, like is not um, in attack mode, and you can just tell the difference of the team when he has it going and when he doesn't. I think for the most part, Dort was smothering him, which is nothing new. He's seen that for 4 games before that. He knew coming in that's what it'd be. I don't know what he does to get it going. I like you could say the calf was hurting, but I mean, just simple effort plays, like just put your head down, attack the rim. Like when he's getting dribble pressure, he's just passive, and I think it's now hurting the Pacers where he's not looking to score at all. And OKC's like, okay, cool, we'll let him playing the others pretty tightly as well. So, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for Halliburton, in the two home games they had, I thought he played very well. And then obviously the game 1 heroics, same thing. But other than those performances, specifically tonight and game 2, just very absent on offense. And Rick Carlisle was actually leaving him out of the game for long stretches of time. Like you saw, like McConnell in the third quarter got a decent amount of playing time tonight. I just think the key for
And that's when they
Halliburton
went on the
is,
run too.
yeah, no, for sure. And I think the key for Halliburton, especially going into game 6, is you have to be the guy. I think it's going to be game 6 of the finals on your home court. It's a must-win game to force a critical game 7 in Oklahoma. You have to be the guy because this Indiana team cannot do it without him. Like TJ McConnell can't do that for 48 minutes. You have to be the guy, and neither can Nimhard. So like when I look at it from that perspective, like the call is on Tyrese Halliburton. He has to be the one that shows up in this game 6, and like you saw tonight, like he was doing a lot of facilitating. I mean, he had a few really good passes to Siakam off the cut, a few to Tony Bradley, who they gave minutes tonight, Miles Turner as well. Like he was generating open looks. It's not like he was a complete liability on offense in
Right.
every aspect of the game. But for him, it's like it's the shot making or his ability to attack. Like he was very passive on that side. I don't know if that had anything to do with the calf tightness that was going on. I know Sham said something about that at halftime, but yeah, I mean he needs to just heal up, rest up, and get ready because they're going to need a big performance from him in game 6.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't know. Like, I think him just attempting more shots so he could get in a rhythm quicker would just help in the long run as well. Like, he's
Yeah.
not like just looking at the rim, and if he could hit like his first couple jumpers, I think that's just gonna relax him because I haven't seen the Pacers rattled yet in these playoffs, and personally, I thought in the first half they looked a little rattled. They looked like,
Mhm.
oh damn, like OKC would like they upped it up again on the defensive side in the fourth, but for the most part, it was just their solid defense, and Pacers were like, oh, like this is new, and it's not like they've been doing it the entirety of the playoffs. I think Halliburton, I just don't know. Like you said, it's game 6 on your home court. I mean, if he has a good game, I like their chances just winning the game. Just because
Mhm.
that's just the way it's been the whole playoffs. Because it's weird. Like the Pacers are gonna get help from somewhere. They've had help every single game. It's just it really comes down to Halliburton. Siakam was amazing tonight. We haven't got
Oh, he was.
to talk to
Yeah.
him. He was amazing tonight. I mean, on both ends of the ball, just help side defender. I mean, he was amazing. But yeah, if they want any chance of tying the series up and forcing a game seven, Halliburton has to be the best player on the floor. And it's a
Mhm.
tough ass right now. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Dort, Caruso, Wallace. I mean, they got him locked up. So
Yeah. And like that defense that we talked about is not going to go away. Like they're going to do the same thing in Indiana that they did in game 4. Like cuz game 4 they were down 7 points. It was like 89 to 82 and then OKC like just calm, cool and collective amidst all the noise around them just decides that they're just going to go on a run. They get it going
right.
offensively. Shea gets to his spots and then they make it up on the other end with great perimeter defense from Lou Dort and Caruso and then they back it up in the paint whether Hartenstein or Chet is in there. They're just a full unit, man. I mean, it's a tough ask for Indiana. They fought really hard so far. I do think that you can't ever count a team like Indiana out, especially on this stage. But
Mm.
this is definitely going to be a tough ask for them going forward. So we'll see if they answer the call in Game 6. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think offensively they're getting a lot of good like open looks for the most part. They're hitting some real tough shots too, but it seemed like way too many times, like just passing the ball to the short corner or just passing the ball to the wing. Like there's way too many times Nemhard's like falling out of bounds, just trying to make a simple pass. Like they just seem
Mhm.
all out of sorts today. They seem very uncomfortable. I expect that to change being out on your home floor. You have the crowd up behind you. Like and they've played better at home in this series. Um, I like their chances to. I would love to say I like their chances to tie the series back up, but the momentum that OKC has right now, and I think they smell blood. Like J Dub
Mhm.
just had 40 in the NBA Finals. Like that is nothing to not look at. Like that is an amazing accomplishment. If he had like if J Dub has it going with Shea, it's over. Like they're just dead in the
Mhm.
water. I think Chet's been amazing on defense. He hasn't had
Yeah.
the offensive series. I'm sure if you ask him that he would have liked, but I think he's been the anchor of the defense. He's been
Mhm.
awesome switching, just rim protection, everything. So I think it's a tall task for the Pacers. I don't know where they go from here.
Yeah, the one of the things I noticed tonight was like the entry pass into the paint. Like if they've got a backdoor cut and Nemhard just kind of like tries to throw it into like a guy like Tony Bradley or a Miles Turner, like OKC's got their hands ready to like knock that
Right.
ball out and like they're going down the other end. It's like even in the paint, like Chet's there, Hartenstein's there. They've always got somebody there to like collect the paint defense, and they've got the perimeter defense to back it up. They're just the perfect unit, but yeah, tonight was a big step for OKC. They're obviously one win away from an NBA championship, but yeah, like I said before, the Pacers just need to answer the call.
Do you think there's anything that even though the Pacers got, I mean, it was close, but then they ended up getting blown out. Is there anything from on your side of things when you watch the Pacers that they could take into Game 6 that's repeatable? Like, I don't think the TJ McConnell thing is repeatable to that extent, but I think they like his like when Shea goes to the bench, they like McConnell coming in as that spark plug.
For me, it's statistically known that role players play better at home. I think that's something that we have to take note of. I do think that them being at home in Gainbridge Fieldhouse is going to have a big impact on their ability to shoot the three ball. Obviously, more wide open looks I think will go their way. I do think Halliburton will play better. TJ McConnell, if he goes in there and gives the effort he gives, will be just fine. I really want to see Miles Turner step up. Miles Turner hasn't had the greatest finals so far on like either end of the floor. So I think Miles Turner needs to have a really big game on. I don't even know when the next game is. Is it 2 days from now?
Probably, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He needs to have a big game. Miles Turner needs to step up. And, everybody's been talking about like Siakam is the most important player in this series. I do agree with that. But he also needs to have a big game as well. But yeah, like I said, the biggest thing is Halliburton. As far as like things that are repeatable, I think it's all about effort. Like honestly, like Indiana, everybody says they're a 48-minute team. So if they have stretches during Game 6 where it's not going their way, they just got to persevere and stay at it.
Right.
Because Indiana is a team, they play so fast to where runs can be had if effort's not given on one side of the floor by OKC, and the same can be said for Indiana. So I think it's just all about effort and staying with it. They like I said, they played really well in games 3 and 4. I really thought they were going to win game 4. Like going into the fourth quarter, I was like, I think they're going to do this. And yet again, OKC just pours it on in the fourth quarter, and there's nothing they could do about it. This series in general. I was talking to a buddy about this. It's been very similar to the OKC Denver series because game 1, Aaron Gordon hits a game winner to shock them. Game 2, they take care of business. Game 3, they get pummeled. Game 4, same thing. They're down like 9 in the fourth quarter, and they come all the way back and beat them, take their souls away basically. Game 5, they win. Denver takes game 6, and they blew them out in game 7. I do think that we're probably going to see a similar result to that in this series. I do expect Indiana to win game 6. Just game 7 in OKC, man, that's just too much for me, man. I mean, like anything is possible with what Halliburton's been pulling off, but like, man, that's a big ask.
Yeah. I will say though, if they are able to force a game 7, I kind of like their chances more than I think most people would think. Only for the simple fact that we have seen the role, not the co-stars of the Thunder like Chet and J-Dub. They've been hit or miss. I mean, not in this series specifically, but with J-Dub. But like, I just wonder in a game 7, the brights get a little brighter than they usually do in a game 7.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna
No, you're
be
right.
bumping your chest in the first quarter of a game 7? Probably not. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited. I hope as a fan, I hope there's a game 7 because I don't want the basketball season to end. But
Yeah, for real.
but we'll see. I think Halliburton. I think if Halliburton just goes down and says, "Hey, I'm gonna try to get like 20 points in the first quarter," I think they'll win the game. They'll be up by like 30 because he's a natural passer. So if
Yeah.
he could just get himself going, it opens up everybody. And I think him scoring opens up Nemhard as well. Like Nemhard hasn't had that game like he did against New York or he had against Milwaukee or Cleveland, where it's like, oh my God, look at Andrew Nemhard. Like some people thought he was the number 2 instead of Siakam at times.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be has to be a collective effort. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I got.
I do think that's true. The lights are really bright, especially not just a game 7, but a game 7 in the NBA finals. And like selfishly, like you said, like we haven't seen a game 7 since 2016, and we know how that ended. So like,
Right.
that would be cool. Definitely. But yeah, all eyes are on game 6 now. And I guess now we can pivot to trade talk if you're down for that.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, let's hop into it. So yesterday morning, the Orlando Magic made a pretty big splash, getting Desmond Bain for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, and 4 unprotected first-round picks, also including a pick swap. I woke up and got ready, went to church, hopped in the car, and just looked at my phone, and I was just like, wow. That's quite the haul for a guy like Desmond Bain. But what is your immediate reaction to this move?
So my immediate reaction, like yesterday when I was at the airport and I got the notification, I was like, whoa, 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 that's a big overpay from a pick standpoint, from Orlando's standpoint. But then when I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, KCP just had his worst season he's had in years, and he's aging, so that's a bad combination. So it's probably 1 first-round pick just to get off his contract. And then if I'm looking at Orlando, I'm like, listen, Tatum got hurt. Nobody ever wants to see injuries, but Tatum's hurt. And realistically, the East is probably looking at the Pacers and be like, why can't that be me next year? Like, there's nobody that they fear at all. And their biggest need was 3-point shooting and specifically from the guard standpoint. And I mean, it's an overpay probably for another team, but I think it's just the right amount because what's cool about Bane, he's been able to upscale his productivity depending who's playing. Like he's done it when you've seen it when Ja goes out, he becomes this all-star like player. And I think
Mhm.
with the magic we're seeing was like, okay, we're in the Eastern Conference. Okay, Paulo, we watched Paulo get double team all playoffs. There's no shooting. Suggs being out hurt him tremendously. So you bring in a guy who's, I think, career average 41% true shooting. He's an amazing spot up, catch and shoot. He had is a career high 5 assists this year. Like that's not nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's he
Mhm.
can play make some. And if he could be your 2, 3 star depending on the night, I mean, I think that opens up a lot for everybody. So I like the move for Orlando. I love the move for Memphis. I
Mhm.
think that whole Ja Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. Trio has ran its course, but for the most part, I think it is a wake up call for a guy like John Morant. Like, hey, like let's get back to that form you were a couple years ago. He's definitely fallen off substantially from that point. I think they have a couple more moves in them as well. Like, I don't think
Mhm.
that's it. But what was your, initial thoughts on everything?
So for me, I was the same. I think I did at first think overpay. Um, Obviously, the fit for Memphis, I'll get into that, but I'll give you the Magic side of things. Desmond Bain is a great player. Let's not mistake that. I would say he's probably I'd give him like an A+ tier role player. I mean, like he maybe slightly above a role player, not a star, but like
Right.
right in the middle if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's really gotten a lot of chances to showcase his talent in the past 2 years specifically because Memphis has just been absolutely ravaged with injuries, and he's been like the only guy available for them. So he's really been able to show that he's a good ball player. Um, Specifically for Orlando, you're getting another scorer. You're getting a great shooter to pair with guys like Paulo and Franz and the rest of the guys that they have down there. Um, as far as what they gave up, KCP, correct, is aging. And you obviously paid a lot of money to get him to Orlando. So getting off that contract is definitely a good thing. So, like you said, that's probably what one of those first round picks was devoted to. Um, I really like Cole Anthony in Memphis. I'm not going to lie. I do think that could be a very good fit for Cole Anthony. I think that gives him an opportunity to grow and an opportunity just to get a change of scenery because he's been in Orlando for a little while now. So I'm excited to see what he does in Memphis. I don't know how the fit is going to work with him and John Morant coexisting, but very interested to see what happens there. And as far as the picks are concerned, I have a lot of different takes on this. 4 unprotected first round picks is a lot. But if you look at some of the previous deals that have been done, like Mikal Bridges for 5 first round picks, or all of these first round picks being dealt, it's not as surprising to see a move like this being made with all these picks. But ultimately, Orlando gets there. Orlando gets a guy that can really go in there and produce for them, and it really rounds out their core, and it just gives more weapons for a guy like Paulo Banchero who is ascending in the East. And one thing to mention, like the East is wide open for all we know next year because we don't know what's going to happen with Cleveland. Boston is most likely going to be a bit of a mess with Tatum missing the entire season, and who
Right.
knows if Drew Holiday, Porzingis are going to be on the team next year. Indiana will be back, but we can all agree that Indiana is on a Cinderella run right now. I mean, they're going
Right.
crazy. So if you look at that, there's not like one team that you just know like nobody's going to beat. Like Boston's
Right.
not the same as they used to be. So I think Orlando saw this opportunity and said, "Look, we've been bounced out of the first round for the past few years now, and we've been very competitive. So now we want to take the next step. And instead of going and getting a superstar and making a flashy move, we're going to get something that builds our core and builds our depth and adds to our shooting. So I really like that for them. For the Memphis side, yeah, this is a wake up call for Ja Morant. I do think he has to play better. This is a really big prove it year for him. He has to stay healthy. He needs to produce at a high level, and he just needs to show the world that he's Ja Morant again. I mean, like
Right.
that's really all it comes down to. And like Memphis now, they have so many pieces. I do think KCP could get flipped. I don't know if that is going to stick. And then obviously you can use some of those picks to go get another guy if you want to, or you can kind of just hit the reset button with another trade, whether it be Ja Morant himself or Jaren Jackson Jr. I've heard rumblings of like, we don't really know what Memphis is going to do, but like they've been caught in this cycle for a few years now. But it's like they're either severely hurt or they're sitting at 2 or 3 in the East and they get bounced in the first round. So I think this was just a sign that they need to make some changes. But overall, in the grand scape of things, I like the move.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think when we look at it, just from a pick perspective, like when the picks start conveying, if Paulo's still on the Magic, Franz is still on the Magic, those are 27, 28-year-old players. Like they're still gonna be in their prime. Like if everything works out, these picks won't mean anything because we both think both those players are good. So the teams are gonna be good. So the picks aren't gonna be that good. So I love the move. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, what could they have gotten with if they offered that to like Charlotte for LaMelo Ball or Trae Young or Atlanta's Trae Young?" And I'm like, I see what they're saying, more like offensive superstar potential with that. But what I also don't agree with is that they're the number 2 defense or top 3 defense every year. You know what I mean? And I think if you get a guy like Trae Young, that'll take a hit because he's not a good defender. You get a guy like LaMelo, who's injury prone like Paulo and Franz, and then he's also not the best defender. Like Bane is not a no-show on defense. Like he's a bulky guy, and you surround him with a bunch of athleticism. I like their chances for sure in the East.
Yeah. The Eastern Conference is going to be very interesting next year. Obviously, the West is going to be a bloodbath, especially if Kevin Durant stays in the West. We'll see what happens there. But yeah, well, yeah. I guess we can go ahead and get into Kevin Durant now. Now that we've kind of segued into that, I'll go ahead and ask you the question first. Where is the best fit for KD?
The best fit for KD from a championship, like winning the championship, I think it's Minnesota, and I only think it's Minnesota because I like his fit instead of Randall, and I like the idea of surrounding KD with a bunch of athleticism. And if they do include Rudy Gobert in the deal, I like the idea of just going all in on offense while still probably being good enough on defense come playoff time. I think if Gobert's in the deal, I wonder if there's a way, because I think that would guarantee Nasri probably starting, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I like the idea of just having like a bunch of offense around Minnesota. My second team, selfishly, would probably be Miami, just for him, not from a winning standpoint, just to get out of the Western Conference. I see the San Antonio. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me just because I love Harper. I think he's like Brunson and Cade Cunningham, like combined type thing. Like he's just an uber athletic shot creating like monster. Houston's interesting because you watch Houston this year, they had a bunch of like good athletes, but they didn't have a closer. So now you alleviate some of the pressure with Sengun, who can't just post up Draymond Green 15 times in a row and just hope Steven Adams gets the putback. Like that's not a consistent way of success. Yeah, what do you think?
So for me, for the Hollywood aspect and the ratings, I think Minnesota is the easy choice. Getting Anthony Edwards getting the chance to play with his idol Kevin Durant would be amazing. I would love to see that. I also think I'm the same way you are with Julius Randle. I've never been a big Julius Randle guy. I think he has a bag that can only go so deep offensively, and you could see that this season without Karl Anthony Towns on the floor. You could just see the deficiencies on the offensive side. Minnesota adding star power like Kevin Durant would be very, very good for them. And Kevin Durant, even though he's about to turn 37, I mean, Kevin Durant is still Kevin Durant. He's still going to score 25, 30 a night and get you buckets. And then Anthony Edwards can sit back and watch. And when Kevin Durant's not going, he passes it off to Anthony Edwards. It's kind of like that Luka and Kyrie aspect where you have two guys that can exist and play off of each other. So I think that's a really interesting fit for them. I'm the same way with Miami. I selfishly would love to see him go to Miami, and I'm not just saying that. Like I've always thought Miami when he was um, not happy in Brooklyn the year that Kyrie got traded to Dallas. Before he got traded to Phoenix, I really wanted to see him go to Miami. That was back when they had Jimmy, of course, but I
Yeah.
really thought that was a good fit. I just see him in a team like South Beach, man. I think that's a really good fit alongside Bam and Tyler Hero. And you have a lot of role players you could flip, but not an insane amount of assets. I just don't think they can compete with teams like Houston and San Antonio that can offer a bunch of first round picks and a bunch of really solid role players.
Yeah.
But as far as a fit is concerned, on court, Bam, Katie, and Tyler Hero would be really nice. Yeah, everybody geeks out about San Antonio. My biggest thing is this. Um, I want to see Victor continue to grow, right? Victor's so young and he's still learning. So a part of me wonders if Katie and San Antonio would stunt that growth a bit because they're adding a lot of pieces at the same time, right? Like you just
Right.
added Stephon Castle, you traded for De'Aaron Fox at the deadline. You're probably about to take Dylan Harper at number 2 next Wednesday. And then you trade and add a guy like Kevin Durant. I mean, like, that's a lot of moving parts on a lot of pieces. And especially the fact that Wembanyama has been out with the blood clot, right? He hasn't played basketball in a while. So my question with San Antonio is, does that stunt the on-court growth for him with a bunch of guys trying to coexist? Because like when you look at that, it's going to be such a diverse lineup, right? Like you got Wemby, who's 7'5". He's literally an alien. You got Kevin Durant, who's a pure scorer. De'Aaron Fox, who is a speed and a mid-range guy, can get to the cup. Dylan Harper, who's going to be a breakout rookie. Stephon Castle, who is going to be a sophomore. You've just got a lot of different personalities on one team. And sometimes I question if you can really put that together. I think San Antonio just needs to ride it out, draft Dylan Harper, and continue to grow because Fox is young, Castle's young, Wemby's young. All these guys are young. KD's, about to turn 37.
Yeah.
Houston is interesting. I know we were talking to Eric Pincus in the Discord about this yesterday. For Houston, there's a lot you can give up. You have a lot of draft capital, and you have a lot of decent players that you can trade. The question is, do you want to trade them? I think, obviously, guys that are off the table immediately, Şengün and Thompson. I don't think you touch those guys. Obviously, Jalen Green. But if I'm Phoenix, like, unless you can get out of Bradley Beal, you don't need Jalen Green, right?
Right.
So you would have to loop a third team in to be able to offload Jalen Green. So then you can kind of turn to the bench. You can go like, I think somebody said it yesterday, like Jabari Smith or Dylan Brooks, and then package a few picks along with that. And that probably gets you Kevin Durant. You'd have to make the money work. And obviously, I mean, Kevin Durant's got a big contract. I think one thing that teams also have to consider is whoever gets Kevin Durant, like you're probably extending the guy for $55 to $60 million a year for probably a 2-year deal. So it's like you're paying a lot for this guy, and he's gonna be, he's gonna stand out on your cap sheet. So I think that's one thing that these teams need to keep in mind as they go forward.
Yeah. No, Houston makes a lot of sense. He went to Texas. He has the Texas ties. I think that'd be a cool little story, him ending his career in Texas where it started. Or not what started, but where he went to college. And I think that's a cool story. I think if the San Antonio part's so interesting to me because I think if San Antonio, I don't understand why San Antonio would want to rush the production of everyone. Like you said, Wembanyama is young. We don't really know what he is even. Castle won Rookie of the Year just cutting and playing off the ball. Like he doesn't even know what he is yet. I think they have, like you said, there's so many parts and an influx of talent all at the same time. I think they just need to sit back and because what's your package? Vassell, Sohan, and
I definitely think HB, Sohan. You could probably grab a guy off the bench, probably Vassell. There's just no room for Vassell anymore after they draft Dylan. I mean, like your front court is pretty packed after that. Yeah, I'd probably say picks, Sohan, Vassell, HB. I'm saying that without looking at the money, of course, but
Right.
you got to get rid of some of those vets. I think HB is an automatic first to go, in my opinion, because he's going to play the 3 or the 4 every time, and so he can't coexist with Kevin Durant there.
Right. No, yeah, 100%. I think, I mean, not to talk about the Spurs because I could talk about this all day, but I think something that's kind of interesting too, like, does Fox and a first get you like a Trey Murphy, Herb Jones? Like, does Fox
That's interesting.
and Devin Vassell, like, let's try to
Mhm.
get some depth. Like, I think Vassell and Harper are your backcourt of the future. You make Harrison Barnes start coming off the bench and you add some just an influx of role player talent.
Mhm.
That's pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I have been I've been watching the New Orleans situation for years now, with Zion, and I'm just wondering, like, okay, when are they going to give up and trade everybody away?
Yeah,
There have been so many guys on New Orleans that I've been like, I need this guy on my team. One of like Herb Jones, before his injury, like, oh man, like that dude was on a tear. I mean, like
yeah,
both him and Trey Murphy, their defensive ability, like, is next level. They can change an NBA team. So that's an interesting question. I don't know.
yeah. No, yeah, I'm just putting that out there. But back to KD, yeah, I don't. I feel like the KD deal has to get done. Like the Suns want it to happen so they can draft these players on the draft next Wednesday. So it has to happen before the draft. But like, what's Miami's offer? Like Khalil Ware, Wiggins, Robinson, something like that.
Yeah, I think Wiggins would probably be your first to go there.
And but does
Mhm.
Phoenix want Wiggins? Like, what's his fit with? But like, I think they fit with Booker, but like,
Honestly, anything you get from Miami, unless you're getting Tyler Hero or Bam Adebayo, which you're not going to get, unless you're getting one of those guys, I mean, you just don't really have use for them. I guess you can put them on the bench. I mean, you look at Phoenix; they're a mess. I mean, they're a mess everywhere. So it's like you have two $50 million contracts in Beal and Booker, and then after that, you have a lot of vet minimums, and you obviously paid Grayson Allen a lot. Um, but yeah, there's a lot there. I don't know how exactly it would work. I think they have a lot of expiring contracts, for their guys. I know Tyus is expiring. I'm sure they have a few guys on their bench as well that are on like two ways, because I mean they were over the second apron, so it was like they had to, on that April eligibility date, they had to add a few two-way guys. So they're gonna have some space on their roster. But that was what I was saying with Miami. I don't know if they have the assets to pull it off unless you were to trade one of Hero or Bam. I'd have to look at the roster. I can pull it up real quick.
It's been reported too that Phoenix wouldn't mind getting off Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal as well, and any Kevin
Yeah,
Durant deal. So I mean that's a
yeah,
lot of salary going out,
yeah. I
and
think
they're
a
still
team that
second apron team. So
yeah, a team that wants Grayson Allen would have to be willing to take that contract. I think that Royce O'Neal could be a valuable contract. Yeah, I mean, looking at it right here, like, you've got Kyle Anderson, age 31, Haywood Highsmith, Jaquez, uh, Davion Mitchell, Duncan Robinson, maybe a guy like Terry Rozier. That could be something. Khalil Ware, Andrew Wiggins. Yeah, they've got decently young talent. I didn't think about Terry Rozier. That could be an interesting fit, but but their backcourt's full. I don't know. That's why Miami's
yeah,
kind of a tough situation. If they were to make a trade, they'd have to give up a lot more draft capital than everybody else, because I don't think they have the players to get it done.
right,
Yeah, because they just
yeah.
sent out. I mean,
And
like,
I guess if you no, go ahead.
oh, sorry, you cut out.
I'll say you go ahead.
Yeah, I guess looking at it, it's like, um, you sent out Jimmy Butler, and you got back decent draft capital, and you got back a lot of decent role players. You got, I mean, like Kyle Anderson and Andrew Wiggins, and I think there was one more guy. I think it was Davion Mitchell, right? I believe so. But yeah, I mean, you got decent
Yeah,
role players back in return. So I think they're just kind of in the reset mode. I don't know if Kevin Durant exactly fits their timeline right now, but I would like it personally.
Yeah, and that was my next question too. I was like, does Hero, Bam, KD get you to conference finals? I don't know. Like,
I've always
I don't know if
thought that
that
if
even
KD
some better than Orlando.
Yeah, I've always thought that if KD just flew under the radar and joined a decent ball club, that he could really succeed. I think the whole like Kevin Durant super team thing just needs to end, man. I mean, like it's just not working out. Like you tried it in Brooklyn, you tried it in Phoenix. I mean, you tried it in Golden State, but let's be honest, that's the greatest team ever assembled. There's just no other way around it. I think
Yeah,
for KD, flying under the radar is the best option, and I do think that like Houston and Miami, he can fly under the radar and you won't have to worry about the super team thing. I don't think Houston's going to be a super team if they get Kevin Durant. I do think that, if you could somehow make it all fit together, you could be looking at something like that in San Antonio because of all the different personalities and, type of players you have there. And then Miami, I mean, Miami would be a decent ball club. I think, you're looking at, I don't know, borderline play in, probably 6-seeded Miami Heat team if they get Kevin Durant next season, assuming he's healthy. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. I'm trying to just think if there's any other teams that like just make sense for Kevin Durant. Like,
Well, people have
what
talked about New
does
York.
Detroit, New York? I heard. I saw a report today that from Mark Spears.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What you say?
Oh yeah, I said Mark Spears had a report today that the Knicks was Katie's first choice,
Yeah,
but
and
it ended
they
up
didn't want him
being that the
back.
Knicks didn't want him in the end. So yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah, I don't poor KD, but
KD in New York, man. Oh my gosh, I remember the summer that him and Kyrie were free agents, and it was like, where are they gonna go? Are they gonna team up? And when they both went to Brooklyn, bro, oh man, those Knicks fans were mad. Oh my gosh, man, I wonder how things would have turned out if they went to the Knicks instead of the Nets. I don't know. That's a very interesting question. But like to the Knicks fit, I mean, like it's not gonna happen. But I mean, New York has so much they can trade. I mean, like as far as players, I don't know about draft picks because they gave up a bunch of them for Bridges, but they have a lot of guys that they can package. And Phoenix could get a very good offer from New York, but New York doesn't want him back.
yeah, I mean like was probably like Cat and Jart or something like that. Or like I wonder what
I
the
was
framework
thinking,
was. Like,
I know it's crazy, but like, Bridges, honestly, I mean, like that would probably be the
wow.
first guy in my mind. I know you just traded 5 firsts for him, but like, Bridges, I don't know how he and Kevin Durant would coexist in an offense. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah. No, I like last thing on the KD front, the sleeper team that I really want to them to go after KD is Denver, because I think Jokic and KD would be just must see TV. You have Michael Porter Jr. who makes 44 mil, so then you just got to match salary from there to get to KD's number. And I think you got Jokic on one side, KD on another, Jamal Murray running the point. The good team. That's a
Oh
really
my
good team.
gosh, dude. Oh man, that would be a scoring masterclass. I mean, like there's no other way to put it. If he stayed healthy, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
If I were to think of a sleeper team in that way, um, I don't know. I really like Minnesota. Minnesota would be like,
yeah,
obviously for the West it would stink, but I wouldn't hate it as much because like, I'm down here in Dallas. We don't like San Antonio around here. So it's like,
yeah,
I'm just kind of like, please don't go to San Antonio. Don't go to San Antonio. That would be
yeah,
I'd be a little upset if that happened, but Minnesota would be nice. I'd love to see him and Ant play together because I'm a really big fan of Anthony Edwards and his game and obviously his admiration for Kevin
yeah.
Durant. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't got nothing else. Do you got anything else to add for tonight?
I think we're good. We can head into our announcement and then we can call it a night. All right. So
Right.
next Wednesday, June 25th is draft day. starting at 7 p.m. We're going to be live, same place, same channel on the warm-up. We're just going to be hanging out, reacting to picks. We're going to try to fill the comment section, maybe do some fun stuff. We'll see what happens, but tune in so you can see our reactions for guys like Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, potential trades that might happen over the night. It's going to be fun. So we hope to see anybody who joins pull up.
Yeah, no, 100%. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. I expect the draft night to have a lot of fireworks. So come join, watch us react to everything. Maybe we can have you guys on stage too. Just come on, just like, subscribe, join up. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Let's get that follower build.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We're going to call it a night. This has been fun. Looking forward to Game 6 of the finals and obviously the draft after that. Signing off for now.
All right. Y'all have a good one now.